guys! So this video is going to look at linear algebraic equations, and we're going to go through a few worked examples of different variety. Okay, so the aim of the linear equation to solve it is to move all the algebraic expressions to the left hand side and move all the numbers to the right hand side. So ideally what we want is at the very end we're going to have x on one side and the actual answer on the other side. So to do that, looking at 5x equals 15, this should be a very easy example for you all. So to reverse the 5x to be left with only the x, we need to divide it by 5. So if we divide one side by 5, we need to divide the other side by 5 as well. And we are left with x equals 15 divided by 5, which is 3. Done! Okay, example number 2. A plus 15 equals 21. So again, we need to reverse whatever we did to the left hand side, so we're left with just a. To do that, we need to remove the plus 15. Oh. So to remove plus 15, we need to do take away 15, and on the other side, take away 15. And we're left with these two cancel out, and we get a equals 21 take away 15, which is 6. Done. The next example, we're going to do divide. So whenever you see that one expression is over another expression, that just means divide. So we've done b over 4 or b divided by 4 equals 7. So the last thing we did to b was divide it by 4. To reverse that, we times it by 4, and then we times the other side by 4 as well. So if we're dividing b by 4 and we're timesing 4, these two cancel out. We're left with b equals 7 times 4 is 28. Okay, now we're going to move on to a bit harder, slightly harder, but it should be fine, I reckon. Okay, so we've got 4y plus 7 equals 51. So the last thing that we did to the left hand side was plus 7. To reverse that, we need to do take away 7, and on the other side as well, and we end up with these two cancelling out. We get 4y equals 51 take away 7, which is 44. Now, the last thing we did to y on the left hand side is times 4. So now we need to divide it by 4 and divide the other side by 4 as well. You can either write it like this. In algebra we normally put it over, or just as a note, divided by 4, divided by 4. As you get better at this, you won't need to write the red anymore. But I'm just doing it as an example so it's easy for you to understand. So 4y divided by 4 equals y. 44 divided by 4 is 11. Okay, moving on to our second last example. 12c take away 14 equals 28. So the last thing that we did on this side was we did take away 14. So we're going to reverse that. We need to zero it out by adding 14 plus 14. So the negative 14 and the positive 14 cancel out, and we're left with 12c equals 28 plus 14 is 42. So 12c equals 42. And remember, we want c by itself, so we need to remove the 12. That's times 12, so we're going to divide it by 12 to remove it. These cancel out, you're left with c equals. Now, this is the interesting part. With algebra, we always leave things as a fraction if we can. But we have to simplify it. So 42 over 12, I can divide it by 2. C equals 21 1 over 6. And that would be the answer. You always leave it as a fraction if you can. You always leave it as a fraction unless it can actually be a whole number, but we try not to do any decimals and fractions, especially because sometimes there's reoccurring decimals or decimals that just go on forever. So fractions are normally a lot more concise and a lot more accurate. Okay, our last example. C over 5 plus 3 equals 8. The last thing we did was plus 3, so we're going to take away 3, take away 3. Plus 3 and take away 3 cancel out. We're left with C over 5 equals 8 take away 3 is 5. Now remember, we want C by itself, so C divided by 5. To cancel out that divided by 5, we have to times 5. And times 5 again. These two cancel out, and I have C equals 25. So hopefully that makes things really clear for you. If not, please shoot us an email and I'll see what I can do to help you. Thanks!